Welcome to Scorpio, Sagittarius, to your beginning of the month reading for June. Hope you friends are doing great out there. If you friends like this, hit that big old like button and subscribe. Getting down to the base chakra. Really finding that vitality, but actually it's really about grounding yourself as well. So really feeling like you're stable and really finding that stability within yourself. Choosing your battles wisely, because you're saying, I don't want the tower. I do not want to have to rebuild from here. It's almost like to the point where it's like, I'm finding that stability. I want it to be right here. I don't want to have this destroyed. I don't want this upsetness, right? If I'm going to do any kind of rebuilding, it'll be gradual throughout the time, but I really don't want to have to work all the way from the ground back up, because I already did so. So it's definitely saying, I'm going to pick and choose where these battles are going to come from. If I don't like it, then, like I said, I'll pick and choose what I want to transform. But otherwise, I'm not going to allow this to just be destroyed, because I've put everything into it already to where I'm feeling pretty stable within the situation as the leader. But I do see that right now in the beginning of the month, there is little things that could either be fixed, or people who are trying to come around, or things that are coming around, right, that are bugging. But it's almost like you're trying to, definitely choose your battles wisely, right? But you got the master of reality over here, the devil, right, that is trying to unleash some battles. Literally, they're trying to, I think they're trying, you know what it feels like? They're trying to take your control away. They're trying to take your control away. They're trying to take your heart and put it in this little box. It's almost like, I work so hard to do this right now. Why are you trying to enslave me, entrap me? Like, it's almost like, feels like almost like entrapment by the way you're choosing, the way they're throwing battles at you. So there's definitely something that's heavy on the heart that you feel like you're trying to escape the grasp of, but it's like you're in their grip, but you're saying, but I'm not going to redo this all over again. So instead of doing so, it says you're going to start observing the situation. You want to observe the situation to keep that vitality going, to keep yourself grounded and strong. The base chakra is also about natural instincts, and it's also about the things that we have to have. That's why it's the have card. This means we have to have shelter, we have to have a job, we have to have money, we have to have food, we have to have water. You see what I'm saying? We have to have shelter. I don't know if I said that one first. It doesn't matter. We really, you know what I mean? We have to feel safe. And that's really what that's about, right? It's leading to these places, and you're observing how it's affecting those areas of your life. How is this affecting me? Is it worth me having to do so? Because I don't want to. That's what you're saying. I don't want to. But you're just not sure how much you can trust the situation, because you don't want to make any more leaps of faith. Because every time it feels like you have to make a leap of faith, it feels like you feel like you have to rebuild from the ground up. You have to, the whole tower comes down, and I have to rebuild all over again. And I don't want to do that. It feels like I just did that. You know what I mean? And it doesn't matter. Excuse me. It doesn't matter if it was a month ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago. It doesn't matter. Right? You're saying I'm stable where I am, but they're trying to cause havoc. So I'm observing the situation. Could be definitely dealing with a Scorpio, an Aquarius, or a Capricorn. Doesn't have to be. Yeah, I'm just trying to put my love and build on my passions. I'm trying to stay passionate about the situation. I'm trying to stay together with this situation. It could be you in a love, it could be a job, anything you're passionate about. But you know that there's something here that's pushing. It's like it's pushing on your, it's trying to push on your last straw. But it's like, I'm just going to walk on, it's almost like kind of like walking on eggshells or broken glass almost to the point. Because you're trying, it feels like you're trying to keep everything together, but you don't want them to keep you in this chain, in this, your heart in this box. I find that choose your battles. Trying to bring in fear and insecurities, but you're like, yeah, deception of lack of faith. Somebody could be even living beyond their means or trying to live beyond the means within the home. But whatever it is, it's trying to work on that, but it feels like you're not allowing that. You're stepping up into your power as the Emperor over here saying, but I'm not going to allow that to feed on me. Because it feels like they're trying to, it's almost like it's festering inside you. But you're trying your hardest to pull and keep yourself stabilized away from that situation. The more they keep trying to bug on you. So you try to keep all these new happy things going. It feels like you're giving yourself all these new passionate ideas. You know, you have new news coming in that's going to make things a lot different as well. Okay, so on the Master, we have difficult decisions, weighing options, avoiding the deadlock, and avoiding this situation. You observe the situation, but yeah, there's going to be some stagnant choices. Especially when it comes to the Page of Cups over here, as this message comes in, whether it's your own intuition coming to help you out, lend a helping hand, or if it's actually a person. But however it's going to be, just watch this, because you do have this Queen of Swords over here. It could be a Gemini. Doesn't have to be. I got Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, Capricorn, Pisces, Scorpio. All kinds of people going on. But, so it could be anybody. But what I'm looking at over here is, if you go to this person and you tell them what you learned through the Page of Cups, there's going to be this cold-hearted, bitter response. And that's where you're going to have to make those difficult decisions. Because it looks like you may be sharing with this person. This is a very narrow-minded person. They're not going to see it your way. No matter what, they're still trying to bring that tower down. So this is also a part of that choosing your battle. Do you want to tell the Gemini? That's my Queen of Swords. She's a Gemini, so we're just going to say it, okay? Do you want to take the Gemini and tell that Gemini this situation, or do you know it's going to cause a battle? So that's going to be the next piece, because it looks like that's going to be a hard choice to make. I don't know if they're going to like your answers. I don't know if they're going to like all those situations. This is going to cause extra burdens, and as you're observing the situation, as you're carrying this stress, it's causing more stress, because the Queen of Swords does not like your answer to what's going on with this message. So now you have to ask yourself, am I going to keep this message to myself, or am I sharing? Because I am the Emperor. I can't trust this situation. So now I'm going to have to observe this situation from all these different details and all these different places. Spirit is saying avoid the conversation with the Queen of Swords if you know for a fact that she or he wants to make a fight about the situation, because they're not going to like the answer you're given to from the Page of Cups. I don't care where it's coming from. I don't care your mind. I don't care if it's your opinion. I don't care if it's from someone else. It doesn't matter. They do not like what you have to say. Be careful of that. You're trying to keep the love alive, but then it says there's a personal transition, a resistance to change, emotional baggage, and delayed plans. If you guys are saying, I've already said this to him and it already happened, well, we can only do so much, right? However it is, it doesn't matter, because they don't like the answers to any of your questions. They don't like the answers to any of what you're doing anyway, so they're already making delayed plans and making emotional baggage. So they're just already up in their head. They could even be playing victim. So it does look like you do have a speedy message coming from them in the end. It could be a Virgo that you're dealing with that's saying that they want to be alone at this time, as they were preparing progress and wanting to move forward. So it looks like they're going to want to make the tower anyways. It looks like they don't like what you're doing. They don't like the idea. Wow. They're saying it can't get any worse, so they're not worried about the inevitable end. So more than anything, it looks like they are thinking about leaving anyways. What? Oh no, they said the grass isn't green here anyways. Look guys, if they're overspending money and you decided that you were going to open up a new bank account or do something, get some great fantastic idea about how you're going to save the world, you know, and you know, not feel like you're chained to them, they don't like it anyways, because they see false success within the situation, living beyond your means, living beyond the means. They're already spending too much money. They don't like the idea that you're taking the money. I don't care. I'm saying it. They don't like that you're taking the money away from them. Give me that credit card. I'm tearing it up. And they say, well, if you're going to do that, I'm out. Financial failure and loss. There it is. They feel like they're yep, there it is. That's it. End of discussion. They feel like they have lack of direction. You're saying, no, you're creating conflict. And you know what? We won't be able to pay the bills if you keep spending money or you're, you know, gambling or whatever the hell's going on. So anyways, whatever the situation is, if they're not spending money, there's something going on that you're getting clear about with them and they don't like it. So they're getting ready to head out. They're getting ready to head towards that door. And if you know it ain't them, it could be yourself. Maybe it's you. Maybe you're saying, you know what, I'm done. You spend too much money and I'm not dealing with this. I want to be stable. I was trying not to make a tower and now the tower, I mean, devil. Yep. No matter what, there is a destructive behavior of materialism, all that good stuff that the devil brings. So it's almost like you're walking on, you know, glass and broken eggshells for, you know, for a while, but it's not fixing the inevitable. That's right there. Inevitable end. It's not fixing it. They've already come to their decision of what they want to do. Definitely could be dealing with with an earth sign. Overall message for this situation. I already didn't see it anyways. It was pretty moving on. Yep. Moving on from the situation, because no matter what, it's just like no matter how many times you try to not make that tower, it's almost like they're against you. Why do you know, whoever this is, whatever this is, it's like it's against you. Either you're moving on or they're moving on. If it's a job, then you're moving on, right? However, it was a learning lesson and it was a karmic, well, definitely, because you have the devil. So it's a karmic learning lesson. Learn to keep your heart open and soft through the trials of life. Okay. Okay, my friends. Until next time. Peace and love. Bye-bye.